Welcome back to Newbrook. So today we're taking a second cut from the two fields near the yard that we already put into the pit. So we're baling hay. I cut these two fields 2 days ago. The season's weather display showed that with no rain coming and that the drying conditions were pretty favourable. So I let it on the ground for 2 days. I had other things to do. So no major risk in that regard, except for the fact that you'll see here the grass is starting to grow up through the hay, but that's not a big problem. We won't worry too much about that. But just a word on the hay itself. Of course, if you cut wet grass, it is a dark green colour. If that dries out, or if you cut dry grass, it's a sort of a mid-green, and once you give it time to dry, it'll turn to what we're seeing here, which is a really yellow colour, which is the hay. So wet grass needs to be tedded. You need to ted it out in order to dry it, whereas dry grass will just automatically turn to hay if you leave it for long enough. And I believe on seasons it's 24 hours. I'm sure somebody somewhere has done a tutorial on that, if anyone is confused. So that's what we're up to today. Now, I'm not sure what to do with these bales, whether to sell them or use them as feed. So on seasons, again, of course, you can only sell hay. You cannot sell, and during a certain period of time, possibly, I'm not sure. But you can only sell hay. You can't sell grass bales. The sell point will accept them, but you'll just get no money. So it's a bit of a bum deal in that regard. As regards to bales I'm making, I don't know whether to sell them or not. I think what I'm going to do is, yep, I left who left that gate open? Okay, the gate is sorted out. So, as regards selling or keeping these bales, I think I'm going to keep them. I'll keep them until, I don't know, maybe until middle of winter or something like that, and then I'll make a decision. There's always just that little bit of fear in selling feed on seasons, partly because it's so long before you'll be able to harvest anymore. But also, I guess, during the winter months, if I decide to purchase more cows, I'm going to need more feed. So it would be good to have that little bit of breathing space. Now, I've checked the info panel, and the cow husbandry info panel on seasons is telling me that I will need about 100,000 litres of feed to get me through the year. Now, I happen to know that I already have 110 in the pit alone, which is fine, but it's a little bit close to the line. Now, let's see, I'm just trying to take the end of some of these rows off just to make them a little bit neater. A quick word on this baler, actually. I must say I do like the Claas baler. I always did like these the Claas round balers. I remember growing up we had both. We had a Claas and a Krone. And if I remember rightly, the Krone would pack a far better bale. But because it was a bar system rather than a roller system on the Claas, the Krone was just so loud. It was just clattering and walloping all day long. It would really give you a headache. So there started my love affair with the Claas baler, if I could get my hands on one at all. That said, we are approaching harvest time on Newbrook. We've got a number of fields between wheat and, I think there's wheat, barley and oats all to be harvested. I think it's nearly ready. In the next couple of days it will be. That's going to yield a monumental amount of straw, and I don't fancy ground baling at all. So there's a good chance I'm going to invest in a big square baler. Not exactly sure how I'm going to make that happen just yet. I think I have my eye on a second-hand one, or an old one. I mean, when did I ever buy anything new, particularly on Newbrook? So it probably will be an old machine, but it will be a big square baler. So we'll have that to look forward to in the next couple of episodes. Okay, while I get on with this, there's a small project up in the yard that I want to tend to as well. As soon as I get these bales made, we'll run up there. So what we'll do is I'll finish out this job, we'll jump ahead and we'll have a chat when we get there. Okay, so first field is done, moving on to the second one. So this one has a bit more of a slope. Not sure, there's no real easy way of getting around the slope in this field. If I was to go across the slope, it would just take me forever because the width of the field isn't really against me, or isn't really working with me. So you'll see here, just in this particular corner, this is not a friendly field at all. But the Ford is capable. Up we go. So away we go. I'll complete this field as well, and then we'll get back to the little project in the yard and we'll finish up with bringing them all in. Okay, we're back in the yard, and this was the project I was talking about. This little area here in the corner of the yard, it's heavily overgrown with grass and a couple of trees growing. I've got some machinery just dotted around and parked in between the trees and so on. I feel like this would be a nice little area to clear for a yard, for a little bit more yard space, to store some bales. So I'm going to get chopping, probably do a little bit of landscaping. Let's see if we can carve out a yard for ourselves to store the bales that we just made. I'm going to need a chainsaw, of course. I won't put everyone through the process of cutting down these 2 or 3 trees. I think they're actually kind of an odd shape, so I think they're going to be pretty awkward. So I'll jump ahead. Let's see how we get on. And we're nearly there. Okay, so you'll see the trees have been removed and they were a nightmare. They're a really odd shape. It was kind of difficult to take out all the branches and cut them up nice and small. But we're nearly there. You'll see there's 2 stumps left. I'll get a stump remover. We'll get those knocked out of there, make it nice and clear. So I think this would be really useful for storing bales. We'll be able to reverse in there. We might get a trailer or something like that stored in there as well. So I'm reasonably pleased with how this has worked out. I'm just touching up the last of it, just spreading out some gravel right around by the edges. Okay, that looks respectable. Okay, so we're back. So you'll see the yard is nice and clear there. You also see a stump remover that was used to get rid of those stumps. So all good, really pleased with that. I think we'll have a nice little area there for storing bales. And of course we need bales to put into it. So we're just gathering up the bales that we made this morning using the auto load feature. I do prefer to stack my own bales if I'm honest. But you know what, it's been a long day. I'm going to let the technology help me out here a little bit. Now, this field I did mention has quite a slope in it. So, I'm almost certain I lost at least 2 bales, 2 rogue bales that headed off down the hill. Yep, I can see one in the next field through those hedges. So, I'm going to have to be pretty blunt. Whoops. And get out there into that field. There's 2 of them out there that I can see. Clip those up and away we go. So that's it for today. Just another couple of bales to collect in the other field. Keep an eye out for the next couple of episodes. Harvest will be starting in earnest and will effectively be wrapping up the first season on Newbrook. Keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching.